Yeah.
All right, welcome to this week's episode of Crown Level Confidence. I am so excited to bring before you a new, but I feel like a good girlfriend of mine, Vassier Serrano. How are you?
I'm doing great, Kalia. How are you?
I'm doing well. Listen, I remember the day I met you, walking into that room and being like, I have to know her.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
Who's this lady?
yes. I was ready. And then it was just like kind of like an instant bond. Like we kind of stuck together that day volunteering. And
Absolutely.
I'm so thankful we were able to keep in touch.
Absolutely. I think it's really, really important. Now, see, first and foremost, you said you were like, I need to find out who this lady is. Well, when I walked in, I saw a young woman with a crown on. I was like, oh, she must be a beauty pageant winner, maybe for the town that we were volunteering for. And I never seen your face, but your smile was so warm. I was like, I got to introduce myself to her. And look at there. We ended up sitting next to each other and got into a long conversation. So it was great. And then we stuck next to each other the whole time while we were volunteering. So that was awesome.
Yeah, no, it was amazing. Um, and I mean, if we're just going to unpack the day, yes, I had a tiara on, but I remember some pretty fancy looking boots and an amazing hat that you showed up with.
Well, you got to have sequins, darling. You got to have
Yes,
sequins. And I think, oh, my Timberland high heel boots. Yes.
yes, yes.
I was very comfortable, but fit for the occasion. So.
Yes, you were. Okay, so fashion and accessories aside, I'd like for our audience just to know a little bit more, about you, what you've got going on, and of course, what we came just to casually talk about today as girlfriends is, our confidence. So just kind of just catch us up. What do you have going on these days?
Oh man. Well, I am an Atlanta radio personality with Classics 1029, Atlanta's classic R&B station. So I'm the weekend girl. I'm on from 10 until 3 Saturday and Sunday, and I bring you all your classic R&B, a little bit of personality. On Saturdays, I like to hit something I call Vassisms, which is my name, Vassier, combined with the last 3 letters of a word that begins with O, a very adult word that begins with O, and it's a combination of and turns into relationship talk, Vassism. And I like to inspire people, if I can, to think deeply about relationships, interactions. And then on Sunday, I do Sunday Soulversations, where it's kind of like a self-care, little aspects of how we can take care of ourselves, mind, body, and spirit. But besides that, I am part of the cast of a new reality dating show. Well, I say it's new. By the time this airs, it's going to be well on its way. And my episode will be coming soon after this airs. So Asking for a Friend comes on TV One Thursday nights at 8 p.m. And it's a show about best friends who are looking for love for their best friend. They could be work buddies, best friends, former daters, whatever the case may be. And I have an episode. So yes, I had to go on a reality dating show to look for love, girl, because it wasn't working for me. And I have a new campaign. It's 3 strikes, but still in the game of love. I have been married 3 times now, and I've learned something about myself in each scenario. I was at different stages of my life for each of them. And I think there are some nuggets there that other people can learn from, whether it be male or female. I'd like to make it as neutral as possible, but I have to speak it from a female's perspective. So I have that campaign. I'm working on an ebook for that. So hopefully by the time you guys see the show, and the ebook will be out as well.
Wow. I don't know if you guys caught all that, but she just dropped some serious opportunity. And so, oh my gosh. Wow. I'm going to be on TV One like, I know her.
No, you're going to be at the viewing party going, hey, we're here.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Yes, I'll be in the building for sure. So, okay. What I'm hearing is, especially with your ebook and even just going on this show, and I mean, the people listening, they don't know you like I know you, even though I'm still getting to know you. But what I know about you is you know how to walk into a room with your head held high.
I do, man. There is something so empowering about taking ownership of even your mistakes. You know, most people would be like, not walking around talking about how they've been married 3 times. It's like, no, baby. I learned a long time how to take lemons and turn into lemonade. I grew up, as I've shared with you, I grew up in an abusive home life. So my father, who raised me from 2 until 12, was an abusive alcoholic. And then I was removed from his care at 12 and reintroduced to my mother in a completely different state. So I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio. I was moved to be with my mother in South Carolina at 12. By 14, I was in foster care. And so those types of things growing up made me somewhat shy to a degree, because I didn't want anyone to know that I was in foster care, right? Because that's stigmatized. And, you know, they look at you as either you're a bad child or your parents didn't want you. There's a lot of stigmatism that comes with that. Well, maybe not stigmatism. That's a visual thing. People will stigmatize you, you know, and so you kind of keep those things secret. But when I finally got in touch with my spirit later on in life, probably in my late 20s, early 30s, when I finally started tapping into my spirit, I began to learn that those things were just part of my elevation. You know, they were just bricks in my personal foundation, and I had a choice. Either I was going to let people take control of that narrative, or I was going to take control of that narrative. And I chose to continually move forward. Even when I was in the situation, I would still choose to move forward, look for the next thing to elevate me, you know, that felt good to me, which is how radio came into play. I mean, I've been doing radio off and on since I was 16, 17 years old. In high school, I went out and got my own mentors because it was just something that drew me. Radio practically raised me. So when my father was out on his benders, I was listening to the radio in Cleveland, Ohio. That's what would keep me company. Those were the adult voices that I heard, and I loved it. And so I would imitate what I heard on the radio or imitate what I heard in a commercial. Can I sell you a Jaguar? I mean, just
I love it.
Right. But even that experience taught me there's still greatness in all of us. We have to tap into it. And there's nothing that we can go through that anyone can use as power over you if you take ownership of it. Good, bad, indifferent, take ownership of it. And so that's where the confidence comes from, the ability to walk into a room with my head high. I could be having the worst day, but I know it wasn't like those days. So it's still a good day, you know?
Right. Yes, absolutely. And that's powerful too, taking ownership and responsibility over a situation. You know, I always say something to the effect of, knowing what you want is the first step to getting what you want. Otherwise, you get what someone else wants for you.
I like that. Yes, indeed.
You know, so you have to like be in control. Like some people, they just, oh, I'm going with the flow or wherever the wind takes me. And that is just a little too hands off.
Right.
For me, like I need to be more involved in the outcome, or in the process rather, like, you know, the outcome, you know, life is a journey, you know, we're going to get to where we're all supposed to be. But I just think that you've got to be, you know, in the driver's seat. You've got to take, you know, like you said, ownership and over your own life. You know, it's your responsibility. No one else is living your life for you.
Have you ever seen Kung Fu Panda?
Yeah.
So the turtle. Right. Wait, was that Oogway? Was that Master Oogway, the turtle? I'm sorry if I got the names mixed up, but the turtle was just like, dude, like he was like the turtle from Finding Nemo, who used to Crush is his name. He was just like, dude. But Master Oogway, I think I got the name right. He was still kind of lighthearted, but there was so much wisdom and so much knowledge in the things that he said and how he trained. And for me, going to the point about there are some people that just kind of go by the seat of their pants. They're going, you know, just flying left, flying right. They're riding the wave like Crush. Then those of us who are like, okay, we're going to take it light, but there is some direction in what we're trying to do. Like,
right.
Kung Fu Panda. Right.
Exactly.
There are lessons learned here. But to your point, you have to take control of the wind in your own sails at some point, because you will end up where someone else wants you if you allow them to control the wind, you know, and so not even control the sail, control the wind, because that's the force. And you have to be actively involved. And, you know, when it comes to us as women, you we all go through something different because we have different life experiences. We live in different places. Our parental input is very different. And so we have a experience that we've crafted through those experiences. And we act out our heart conditions. Whatever we've allowed to condition our heart, we act out. And so that transcends into relationship, workplace, whatever you feel as though your fuel, your passion, whatever you want to do, all of that translate in that. So if you have the mindset, and that's okay, do you, boo, right? If you have the mindset and you just want to go with the flow, I just want people to keep in mind, you can go with the flow, but the flow may not lead you where you want to go. At some point, you have to take control of the wind or the wave. And you got to know yourself to do that. You're going to let somebody take your life, take over your life, your entire life. You have no aspirations, no visions, no dreams, no sense of wanting to control your own narrative. How does that build confidence?
Right.
Exactly. I mean, what's the brick in that foundation? Like, but to each his own. I mean, we all got to live our own experiences. But I would hope that most people want to be an inspiration to others, even if it's just the younger people around them. They got to have some level of wisdom, some place. What is it? Wisdom is by watching other people, learning from their mistakes, not making the mistake.
Yeah.
So whether you're learning through wisdom or making the mistake or taking the fall, I would think that somebody would want to have some level of inspiration for others within themselves. Tap into that. Build your confidence from that.
Yes. Yeah. And sometimes I take for granted, my own, home life, it's not that I never had a struggle, but I'm well aware that the things I've gone through don't compare to a lot of people, present company included. So, given the different experiences that you've had, in your life and just different things you've seen or even seen of friends, what would you say to a person who maybe they're aware, there's a woman listening and maybe she's aware that, okay, where she is not where she wants to be, but she doesn't really see a way to get to that other side. Like, what could you say to help her build the bridge, to fill in that gap, to say, okay, I'm here. I'm not really in control of my own life or thoughts or visions or goals, but I know I want to be. Like, how would you direct her?
It's interesting that you asked me that. I actually had a conversation with someone earlier today regarding her path and what she wants to do. And I would say, first of all, having the inkling that there is something that you want to do. I think that's the spark right there. Look into that. Find out, and it could start with basic research. If you're interested in something, why are you interested in it? What is it about it that's so appealing to you? Investigate that. Find out how. I'm going to take radio as an example, right? All right. So when I told you that radio pretty much raised me and I had an idea that this is something that I wanted to do, when I was moved from Cleveland, Ohio to South Carolina, again, I was 12 years old. So between 12 and 16, there was no one pouring into me. There was no one that knew about my passion for radio. No one knew about that, right? Except maybe my youngest sister, because at a point in time, she was with me when I was like trying to tape cassette tapes together and everything like that. Y'all too young to know about that, but I digress. Right. So there was something about that just, it sparked my interest. I didn't know how those people spoke, and I heard it over the air. So I started investigating, how do you get in radio? What does it take to be in radio? Okay, well, I'm too young. At this stage, I clearly can't get a full-time job because I'm in high school, right? Well, let me start reaching out to people who do what I want to do. Let me get from those people who are actually working in that field so I can better navigate. And from the information I got when I was in high school, just randomly went out and got permission from my foster mother to go out with these adults and find out what it was about their life that intrigued me. That's where I found my love and I began my pursuit, but it had to start with that spark. And so to anyone, male, female, we're talking about confidence here, to anyone that has an interest in anything, follow that spark. That could be your destiny. That could be your purpose. For me, radio just provides a platform, right? An opportunity for recognition so that people can hear me as the messenger about what they can do. Look at what my past is. Look at what statistics would say, statistics would say I should be, but I'm not that, and I fought against the odds. There's every opportunity like that for all of us. And it does start with that spark of interest. You just have to investigate it more. And another thing that I believe, people believe in different entities. I do believe in God. They may call it the universe, whatever they call it. I believe there is a spiritual being that blesses us all, that creates mind, body, and spirit. I believe that. So whatever your passion is, find purpose in that. That first starts with your spirit. So look to your spirit and see where it's kind of guiding you as far as what you want to do with your life. I don't believe that God puts your feet on a path that you will not cross again. So if you say your interest is in baking, I just really love the way these cookies taste. How do they make these? Famous Amos, how do you make these cookies so crunchy? Start investigating. What do you use in cookies? Do the research. Apply the research. That's just a really simple example, but that mindset on anything, everything, if it inspires you, you can find purpose in it. And I promise you, there's a message for someone else.
That's powerful. That's powerful. So, it starts from within, but you literally have to do some work. You've got to put some action to that spark, right? To ignite that flame and to keep it going. That's huge. I think a lot of people, they, excuse me, they may get an inkling or an idea or a spark. And if their internal environment isn't ready to sustain that, they'll let it fizzle out, or they'll even kill it themselves and say, oh, but I could never do that. Or, oh, that's dumb, before even taking it to someone else or putting any action behind it. So that's also important, right? Like, we've got to do the work to make sure our internal environment can sustain a vision, Man.
I have the perfect example of exactly what you just said. And I tell people this because I experienced it, and it's something that, it's so easy to remember. It's almost tangible. You want here it goes. So to your point, maybe someone thinking their idea is not good enough. It's not going to work. So many people out there doing it. True story. Driving down the street. I'm gonna keep it clean. Driving down the street when they were actually driving down the highway one day. And I was just kind of having my thoughts, had the music down low, just kind of having my thoughts about some things that I wanted to do and didn't know how I felt about it. And it was that thought process, right? That negative thinking. Other people have done this already. I want to do something new. I want to be, the first one to do it. At this particular time, this van pulled up next to me. It was kind of just slightly ahead of me. And when I saw it, I don't know what drew my attention, because I'm looking at it. It's not very well kept, but you could tell it was a commercial van. And I saw it and I was just like, oh, okay, a plumbing service. But the way that van looked, I was like, I probably wouldn't call them for business, because it doesn't look like they take care of their stuff. I end up losing that van. I'm driving same direction. I pull up on a different van. This van is purple and gold. The writing's really appealing. I'm like, what is this? It looks really, really good. It was a plumbing truck. Same thing. So I looked at that and I was like, you know what? That van, the way that van is well taken care of, I would probably buy that service. Here's what I'm saying. It was the same-ish, different presentation. They both working with the same-ish, but it's a different presentation.
Wow.
So I will come up with ideas now and I'll be like, no, maybe not. And I'll cross it. I'm like, plumbing truck. Same-ish.
Different presentation.
Just needs a different presentation. And I'm like, that's it. That's the motivator right there. And I was just like, well, dude, okay then, fine. So tell me that won't stick in your mind. Yes.
It will. It will.
Different presentation.
Yes. Yeah. But it's true. How we frame things and how we look at them is so important. And it even how we perceive them, right? Like, I'm willing to say I'm fairly sure that you've experienced this, but I shouldn't speak for anyone other than myself. I would say there's a difference. Oh gosh, what do they call it? There's a word for this. Oh, pretty privilege.
Oh,
And it's true. It's true.
it does
And
exist.
I've tested this out plenty of times, and I get dressed. I like to look good. It's for me, okay. Yes, my husband, he has his own feelings about my makeup or whatever, but I get together. I put my tiara on, I put my makeup on, and my clothes. It's for me, really, like my own reflection. But in the absence of those things, I've noticed I can kind of slip into the background. Maybe there's not as many doors that are being open for me. I'm not getting as much eye contact. And for me, in my personal story, I was raised with a pretty high level of confidence, and I needed it because I ever since I can remember, since childhood, I've always been like obese, like very overweight, and so it wasn't until 2020 that I really got a hold, of my weight, and I lost like almost 100 pounds.
Oh,
and so, yeah. And so I really can tell, thank you. But, to the point about pretty privilege, I really can tell, the difference in how people, not how I feel about myself, let's be clear, but how other people, perceive me or, respond. And so that's a whole other topic, but it's just, interesting how kind of bringing it home to the same-ish, different presentation. I'm the same person.
Yes.
Yes.
And
I just noticed how, like, what happens in a day, how I presented myself in the world in these different ways, and what, comes back. So, I tell people all the time in my beauty business that, okay, should you invest in makeup to change who you are? No.
Oh.
But if a different lip color is going to make you smile more, then
Exactly.
maybe
enhance what's already there. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because that way you're, when you feel better about, yourself, then you're going to put a better version of yourself out there in the world.
You're absolutely right. I mean, something as simplistic as a shade. For years, I would never wear red lipstick because there was so much, okay, I'm 50, there were stigmas tied to red lipstick, for a long time or whatever. And I would never wear a red lipstick. When I finally found a red that popped, every time I wear this lipstick, it is almost caked up and dry, and I need to go ahead and reach out to my supplier. I get you have such a beautiful smile. And I'm just like, I just had on lip gloss yesterday and nobody said nothing to me. Like, it was a clear lip gloss. But I mean, and as simple as that may sound, it is very, very true. And we're using lip gloss and lipstick as an example, but whatever that thing is that makes you feel confident. And it doesn't have to be anything major. It doesn't even have to be anything artificial, so to speak, because it's all about what's going on in here, If other people are going to compliment you on it, that's great, but that's not the goal, right? It's for us. It's for who we are, because if we feel great and safe on the inside, that is going to shine on the outside. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And again, one of the reasons that I was drawn to you, because it's like, she's just so effervescent and bubbly, and I had no idea who this woman was, but it's just like, I just love it. This is great. Like, who wants the registration table?
Me.
We got booted out of that job, but that's okay. The other
quickly. Too. Yeah, right.
All of a sudden, we're wrangling the crowd. Just like,
Wait, I work here. Yeah.
Yes,
we were security. We were everything. I know. Right?
Everything. Right. It was a great day, great cause.
It was. Well, okay, so we're reaching we're nearing the end here of our conversation, but we're at the point where we call it the final word. And so, we've touched on a variety of different topics in our time together, but what do you want to leave, as your final word for that person who they've got some confidence now, but they know that they're on the edge or on the cusp of needing to level up to their next their next level of confidence? What do you have to say to that person?
I would say if you are on the brink right there on the cusp of leveling up and you feel either though you can't do it or it won't make a difference or you just need that extra push, I'm going to tell you that everything you need is already inside of you. You are a gift and you're purposeful. We're all purposeful. We have a reason for being here. So go ahead and step out in your purpose. You may not know every answer right now. Some things you're going to learn along the way, and you'll be surprised about what you already know and can contribute to someone else. So definitely take that leap of faith. Sometimes it might even be blind, but that's okay. If you have the unction in your spirit, whatever you want to call it, the butterflies in your stomach about a thing or something that you just can't even sleep at night because it's constantly on the mind, baby, that's your purpose. Don't let anyone stop you from that, including yourself. Do not be your worst enemy. Step out there on faith. You can do it. And anytime you stumble, look at it as a lesson, write that sucker down, and know that the next time you come across this same topic or this same issue, you already know how to overcome it. And last but not least, if you have an idea and you think it's already been done, baby, same-ish, different presentation.
I love it. I love it. You guys, you have just been bestowed. You've been you've been blessed by Vassier Serrano. Thank you so much for having this conversation with me. I'm sure you have touched someone's life as they listen, and remind us of the different ways that we can keep in touch with you, or the listeners can follow you or be involved in what you have going on.
Cool beans. You can follow me on social media by my name, Vassier, V as in Victor, A, S as in Sam, S as in Sam, IER _ Serrano, SERRANO. That's on Instagram, and Facebook is Vassier Serrano. You're looking for the picture with the short blonde hair because I can't access that other one with the curly stuff. Not mine anymore. Facebook has taken it. So look for the short blonde hair. Kiss me. And you can always listen online. My Classics, ClassixATL.com, Saturday and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern.
Awesome. Well, thank you again so much. This has been the latest episode of Crown Level Confidence, where we're helping women worldwide level up in their self-esteem and confidence building. That's all we got for today.